Hello, my rubber hearts. Today we are opening another Toolbox episode, and this one explains something every rubber technologist has seen but not always been taught to explain. Oil migration. Why does oil sometimes stay perfectly inside the rubber and sometimes slowly creep to the surface? Why does the same oil behave differently in different compounds? And why does a formulation look stable before cure but start sweating oil afterwards? None of this is random. It follows clear physical rules once you understand both the mechanism and the driving force behind it. Let's start with the core idea. Oil migration in rubber is driven by diffusion, but diffusion alone does not explain why oil ends up on the surface. Diffusion describes how oil moves, the kinetics. The reason it moves at all is thermodynamics. The rubber oil system is always trying to reach a lower energy state. If the oil's chemical potential is higher inside the rubber than outside, the oil will migrate until equilibrium is reached. If equilibrium can be reached internally, the oil moves to the surface. What you see as sweating or bleeding is simply the system relieving excess energy. On a practical level, diffusion is controlled by molecular mobility, compatibility, and free volume inside the rubber matrix. Oil molecules move by hopping through gaps created by polymer chain motion. If those gaps are large and mobile, migration is easy. If they are tight and restricted, migration slows down. Thermodynamics decide whether oil wants to move. Kinetics decide how fast it gets there. This immediately explains the first big distinction: unvulcanized versus vulcanized rubber. In unvulcanized rubber, the polymer chains are long and only entangled, not chemically connected. They move freely under heat and shear. That creates a lot of free volume and transient pathways. Oil molecules diffuse quickly and redistribute easily. This is why oils added during mixing seem to disappear uniformly into the compound. Once the rubber is vulcanized, everything changes. Crosslinks lock the chains together and restrict their motion. Free volume decreases, diffusion paths become narrower and more tortuous. Oil migration slows dramatically. At the same time, the thermodynamic situation becomes fixed. Whatever oil is not comfortably accommodated inside the network at that point becomes a candidate for long-term migration. So yes, the same oil migrates very differently before and after cure, simply because the network structure and mobility change. Now let's talk about different formulations of the same polymer. Even with one polymer family, oil migration can vary a lot. Fillers, plasticizers, cure density, and processing aids all modify free volume and chain mobility. A highly filled compound has less continuous polymer phase available for diffusion. A lightly filled compound gives oil a smoother path. Higher crosslink density means tighter networks and slower diffusion. Lower crosslink density means more mobility and faster migration. This is why two NBR compounds with the same oil but different hardness levels behave differently. The softer compound often shows more migration, not because the oil changed, but because the polymer network allows more movement and the thermodynamic limit is reached sooner. Now, let's move to different polymers where compatibility becomes the dominant factor. Oil migration depends strongly on how chemically similar the oil is to the polymer. Oil prefer environments that feel chemically familiar. When compatibility is good, the oil dissolves into the polymer phase and its chemical potential stays low. When compatibility is poor, the oil is only partially soluble and wants to escape. In non-polar rubbers like NR, SBR, and BR, non-polar oils like paraffinic or naphthenic oils are usually stable. In polar rubbers like NBR, ACM, or CR, polar oils are much more compatible. Put the wrong oil in the wrong polymer and migration accelerates, because the system is trying to lower its energy by expelling the oil. That's why an oil that behaves perfectly in NR can bleed badly in EPDM, and an oil that works well in NBR can migrate aggressively in SBR. Even within the same polymer, different oils migrate differently. Molecular size matters because smaller molecules diffuse faster. Polarity matters because it controls solubility. Structure matters because rigid aromatic oils interact differently with polymer chains than flexible aliphatic oils. So two oils with the same viscosity can behave very differently inside the same compound. Fillers will also influence migration. High surface area fillers like carbon black and silica can absorb oil onto their surfaces, temporarily lowering the oil's chemical potential in the rubber phase. This can slow migration, but only up to the point where the filler surface is saturated. Once that happens, additional oil remains free to move and bleeding becomes likely. Temperature ties everything together. Higher temperature increases chain mobility, diffusion rate, and free volume. A compound that looks stable at room temperature can start bleeding oil at elevated temperature simply because both kinetics and thermodynamics shift. This is why oil migration problems often appear in service rather than during lab storage. There is one more factor that often surprises people in real application: mechanical stress. Rubber parts are rarely freestanding. Seals and gaskets live under compression. Under load, the rubber behaves like a sponge. If oil content is near the solubility limit, compression can physically push oil out of the network. That is why a part may look perfectly stable on the shelf but start leaking oil once installed. And a short but important clarification. When we talk about oil appearing on the surface, we are talking about bleeding or sweating, which refers to liquid migration. When solid additives like waxes or sulfur move to the surface, that phenomenon is called bloom. Different mechanism, different physics. Today's episode is strictly about liquids. One last consequence that often goes unnoticed: oil is a plasticizer. Its job is to increase free volume and lower the glass transition temperature. If oil slowly migrates out over time, the TG of the rubber rises. The compound becomes stiffer, less flexible, and more prone to cracking and fatigue. Oil migration doesn't just change appearance, it changes long-term performance. So when you see oil on the surface, what's really happening is this: the rubber oil system exceeded its thermodynamic comfort zone. Diffusion provided the pathway, the surface became the release point. The practical takeaway is simple. Oil migration is not about good or bad oils. It's about matching oil polarity to polymer polarity, oil size to network tightness, oil level to filler surface and crosslink density, and remembering that cure and service conditions lock in the final behavior. Once you understand both the why and the how of oil migration, sweating compounds stop being mysterious accidents and start looking like predictable outcomes of chemistry and structure, doing exactly what they are supposed to do. Until next time, stay elastic and stay curious.